Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fall for New National RTAP Resources. You can see my background that I really like autumn, and it's great in Massachusetts. You can watch the fall leaves change and go pumpkin picking, go cranberry picking, while taking transit to these activities, of course. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of new resources that we've launched right before this fall and even very recently that I hope you'll get excited about. So let's get started. First, a little housekeeping. I won't ask you to rake leaves, but please stay muted, and at the end, we'll be able to have questions and answers. The recording and slides will be posted on our webinars page following the webinar. If you're having trouble with Zoom, please chat, and I'll do my best to help you. And at the very end, there's going to be a QR code for a post-webinar survey, so you can have your phone at the ready. If you miss it today, you'll get an email tomorrow. And stay tuned for additional webinars on this topic and many others. The next one on this topic will be Spring into New National RTAP Resources in 2026. So for those of you who are new to National RTAP, we're National Rural Transit Assistance Program, and we are a technical assistance center funded by the Federal Transit Administration, FTA, through the Section 5311 Rural Program. We provide free training materials and technical assistance to rural and tribal transit providers and to state RTAPs. And more about that in another slide. We're governed by a review board, 14 state DOT and rural and tribal transit agency managers from across the country who give us guidance on what types of resources to work on and what services to provide. You can learn more about us on our website. It's very easy, nationalrtap.org. So this is a little bit more about our resources and services, the types of things we do. And like I said on the last slide, it's all free. We have training manuals, videos, PowerPoint slides, and e-learning, both for frontline staff and for transit management. And the manuals are online, and also we have some available in print that we can ship to you. We provide information and best practices via technical briefs, toolkits, topic guides, articles, and news. If you haven't subscribed to our e-news, we hope you do. Technology tools for procurement, cost allocation, website building, GTFS, also scheduling and dispatching. We have a tool for everything. And peer networking, including training like webinars like this one, conferences, more about our big conference at the end, peer roundtables and chats, and learn-alongs and online forums. Now, we couldn't be technical assistants without assistance. We provide reference services and technical support. Bring us your questions and we'll get you your answers. So that's a little bit about us in a nutshell. This is me. I'm Kara Marcus, Knowledge and Resource Manager for National RTAP. And now let's get started with our first new tool. And this one we've been planning for a long time, since 1992, actually, the Rural and Tribal Transit Compendium of Best Practices. So with all of these tools, what I'm going to do first is show you where to find it. So when you're at nationalrtap.org, next to our home button, you'll see a whole row of purple buttons on all of our pages. You'll see a button for resources. If you mouse over it, you'll get to the resources mega menu. It's big, it has a lot. And the best practices spotlight is the last link in the information section. So if you click on that and you'll get to it, you can click on the compendium, it's at the top, and you could also use this direct link. It's at the bottom of this slide. So like I said, these slides will be posted. So if it's easier for you to just go to the presentation and click away, that's good too. So it's not just there, it's also in the state RTAP menu. So that's sort of towards the right of our row of purple buttons. And it's also the last clickable link in that menu. And guess what? You are seeing double. It's the same tool in two places for your convenience. May I repeat? It's the same tool in two places for your convenience. So there's another link. If you want to find it on the left, you can. If you want to find it on the right, you can. So either way, you'll find it. So what is it? I mentioned 1992. National RTAP has been around since 1987, so we were still fairly new in 1992. It was before I was with National RTAP, but one of my longtime predecessors did what they called the State of the States report. And that's a clickable link when you get the slides. And here's an excerpt from it. It was really cool. It had every RTAP from every state. It didn't have the territories yet, but it had this map, and that's exactly what it looked like, that sort of flattened image with the high technology from 1992. So it said what Alabama did, Alaska did, Arizona, all the way down alphabetically through the end of the alphabet. So you can look at that if you want. It's still up on our website if you click on it. But now what we wanted to do was give a real picture of what state RTAPs and territorial RTAPs and you'll see even tribal transit services are doing in terms of what they do today. So we had a review committee and we looked at what are all the RTAPs doing. They're helping with 5310, 5311 funding for their subrecipients, overseeing grant management, mobility management. They're doing compliance and procurement assistance for their subrecipients, and certainly a lot of technical assistance, technology implementation, and lots of training. So all the state RTAPs are doing a great job with all these things. So how can we capture it? Not just a static list. We wanted an interactive tool. So we created it. Our talented technical support team created an interactive map you'll see on the next slide. And we got the best practices from all of our state RTAP manager peer roundtables. We do summaries of these. We hold them twice a year. And we also have one-to-one national RTAP, state RTAP manager outreach meetings. So whenever we talk to people, we say, oh, what are you doing? That's great. So that's where we got a lot of these. And we specifically, when we knew we were going to launch it, gathered best practices at our July 2025 peer roundtable. So it's nicely populated, but we want to get it 100% populated. So if you're a state RTAP manager, and you'll see the next slide, if there's nothing for your state, hope you'll reach out to us and give it to you best practices. So like all of our trainings, we had a review committee from our review board review this one. And I'd like to thank Mariana Hannafeld from Washington DOT, Tom Nutter from Oklahoma, and Kevin Wassam from Michigan. So we had a couple of meetings and they helped us get it exactly how you see it today. So this is how it looks, and click on any state with a green background. And you'll see their best practices. A pop-up will pop up. This slide is showing Florida. You can only view one state at a time. If you click on another state, that'll go away, and you'll see the next state. So Florida submitted a best practice in training. They work with the University Transportation Research Center, and they're talking about some of their active shooter training and some other stuff. So you can see there's a whole batch of states that have submitted best practices so far. And not just states, the US territories who get 5311 funding, they also have RTAP programs. So some of them have also submitted best practices. Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, and the US Virgin Islands. And it works similarly to the map. Click on the name of the territory and their best practice will pop up. For tribal transit systems, we've gotten a couple too. If they're doing things for their tribal citizens and tribal transit stakeholders that are similar to what state RTAPs are doing. We want to have them in the toolkit too. So this one we're highlighting is Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribal Transit. So you can take a look at all of those live on our website. Now, how do you add to it? If you're a state or territorial RTAP or a tribal transit system, just send us an email, info@nationalrtap.org, with your best practice. We'll let you know when it's posted. And we even have a really nifty high-tech way to submit it. If you don't want to have another email, we got a Padlet into use, and that's something I learned about recently. It's sort of fun. You can click on the link when you get these slides, and we will add it to the live map. So if you go on the Padlet, like some of these other new tools, it will give you a fun name like Adventurous Aardvark. So you can keep it that way. I don't mind if you're anonymous, but you're welcome to create a free account and sign in to use your own name. And that way we'll know who submitted this best practice. So either way is fine. And you can see there's been comments from a lot of people when we had our state RTAP manager peer roundtable. That's how they populated the map on the Padlet. So, okay. At the end, you can ask questions about any of these new tools. We're moving on to the next tool, the 5310 programs list. Now, a lot of 5311 subrecipients also get 5310 programs, 5310 funding. So we thought it would be a great idea, as we have lists of 5311 web pages for every state, and state transit agencies for every state. Why not have a list of 5310 programs? So to get to it, it's a little similar to the last how to access. You still go to our resources mega menu, but instead of information, you click on toolkits and click on the Find Anything toolkit. Now, the Find Anything toolkit is where you find things that are really hard to find. Like, it's probably before we had this hard to find all the states' 5310 programs, but now you can. So it's right below state transit associations if you want to see those for your state too. There is also a direct link that'll be in these slides. So this is very new. It was launched in July 2025, and we worked on it with the communications manager of the National Aging and Disability Transportation Center and ADTC, Jeremy Johnson Miller. So thank you for that. And we found that most states do have a web page about their 5310 programs. We haven't found any for US territories yet, but once we do, they will be added. So the list will be maintained by National RTAP and will be updated at least annually. Pretty much everything on our website is updated at least annually. So if you'd like to submit changes, no Padlet for this, but just email info@nationalrtap.org. And we link check once a month. So if there's a dead link, we'll probably find it anyway and find the correct link. So in case you were wondering what 5310 is, it's FTA's Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities, the Section 5310 program. It provides formula funding to states and designated recipients to meet the transportation needs of older adults and people with disabilities when the transportation service provided is unavailable, insufficient, or inappropriate to meeting these needs. So 5310 does a great thing, and it's in use throughout the US. So it just looks like a list, alphabetical by state. So click on the state, you'll see that all the states have a different look and feel to their 5310 programs page. They use their own branding and wording, but they're all very useful. And certainly look at your own state if you want to see what other states are doing, you're welcome to. And it's very, very easy to use. Okay, Now, the next new resource we're going to do is the National RTAP marketing slides. Okay, so here you're going to again mouse over the resources mega menu and click on our resource library. A lot of our stuff is in our resource library. And I'm going to teach you a little trick, little shortcut. If you just put in keywords, sometimes you get too many things. But if you put in TI equals marketing slides, that's a really great way to just get what's in the title. So if you put that in and hit search, you'll get it. And it has a very long URL. We use EOS software for our resource library. So I wouldn't expect you to remember this URL. So, you can bookmark it if you want to keep it. And once you get into the record in our resource library, you'll see about the record. And then at the bottom, you'll see a media section. It'll show a cover image, and then it'll show the actual resource, the slides. So if you click on that, and you've probably done this on a lot of websites, it'll sort of slide up to the top of your computer in your downloads area, and click on it. It'll open, and you can right click on it to save it or open the folder where it downloaded. So then you'll have it forever. One thing, when you click on either the slides or a PDF or anything in our resource library, it will open up sort of a temporary URL. If you want the direct URL, click in the record, in the action items, and click on the permanent URL, and you'll get this one that you see right here. And if you want to bookmark anything from our library, use that URL. So about these slides, they're actually, why don't we just go back really quickly? They're these, plus one more surprise slide. If you download them, you'll see. This one and one more I didn't include. And so there's just 3 slides. They won't overwhelm you, but you or anyone may use the slides in your own webinar and conference sessions to introduce National RTAP and our benefits to rural and tribal transit agencies and to state RTAPs. So if you're doing a webinar and you want to say, we love National RTAP, here's a little bit about them. Use our marketing slides. Couple of caveats, the slides may not be altered. You can't say, National Art Rap or whatever you want to say. Just leave them the way they are. We don't ship these. They're online only. And if you're using them, you cannot say that you are a representative of National RTAP. You're just somebody who's marketing National RTAP, and we thank you for that. You don't have to let us know if you've used them, but you're welcome to do so. We always like to know when people use our resources. So the next one is something we're really excited about, and it took a village to do this, the Agricultural Communities Transportation Technical Brief. And this is something really new and different than anything we've had before. So again, this is how to access it. The same way as the marketing slides. You mouse over the resources mega menu, click on the resource library, type TI equals agricultural communities, hit search. You'll get a similarly looking long EOS URL. And then once you're in the record, you'll see the cover image. Looks different than the cover image of the previous resource. And you'll see the full text PDF. So click on that, and you can, save it. You can print it yourself, and yeah, you can get to it, and I'll tell you about it. So this is a joint project of FTA, CCAM TAC, and National RTAP. It was great to work with these organizations. So it was developed for local governments and nonprofit organizations to establish new transportation services and for transit operators, transit providers, to expand existing services to meet the needs of farming communities. So, in a lot of rural areas, there's a lot of farming communities, and they need transportation very, very much. And before this resource, there really wasn't that much to help them. It provides an overview of resources for improving transportation services to support farm workers' access to everyday destinations. So, of course, they want to go to their farm to work, but the farm workers also want to go to, the store to buy things or, anywhere else anybody wants to go to. So these sections include a resource background, telling a little bit more than this slide does, federal funding opportunities, everybody needs funding, really great case studies, transportation tools to enable access, and relevant technical assistance centers and national organizations. So of course, CCAM-TAC and National RTAP, but other ones too. So why was this made? The fiscal year 2024 Appropriations House Report 118-154 required FTA to coordinate across federal departments to develop materials and best practices to establish or expand affordable and reliable transit services for farm workers. So this resource really does that. One of the things we did to create this resource was hold an in-person listening session in 2024. Our executive director, Robin Phillips, facilitated that. It was in Washington, D.C., and there were a lot of FTA people there, as well as people who worked with farm workers' transportation. So this is what we found at the listening session. Organizations providing services to agricultural communities need to collaborate at the agency level, including sharing transportation costs. The high cost of transportation for agricultural workers can be up to 40% of their monthly wages. Now that's a challenge. That's something that really needs to be looked at and planned for and hopefully overcome. Unbanked agricultural workers may need to pay for transportation with cash. They might not have bank accounts or mobile apps or anything like that. Micromobility, like Transportation Network Corporation type of services, may be helpful and easy to implement for improving transportation in agricultural communities. Some of the case studies talked about that too. And there may be potential federal funding opportunities for various projects, including some great ideas like repurposing buildings for transit use or purchasing vehicles to improve transportation in agricultural communities. Finally, transit agencies are accountable for different outcomes compared to non-transit organizations. And transit agencies need to be aware of non-transit program goals, such as health or safety. So those are just some of the things that came out of the listening session and to help shape this technical brief. And the chart at right is a really great chart. It shows different programs at US DOT, Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, and many others. This is all I could fit on this slide to show, how they provide coordination activities, funding, fund braiding, etc. So it's easy to use. Eligible is a check, ineligible is an X. So you can see across agencies. So there's really a lot more than that. There's case studies, there's best practices. There's really, take a look. If you work at all with agricultural communities, you'll really find it helpful. So the next one, I've gotten many questions from time to time about National RTAP history and about history of what we do before we were around in 1987. So I had some time and did some research and did a brief about a look back at rural transit technical assistance before National RTAP. Finding it again, mouse over the resources mega menu, click on our library, type TI equals look back, and there's again the long EOS URL. Once you're in the record, you can see the cover image, you can see the full text PDF, and it is also in our history webpage too. There's a link to it. So about us, we were initiated on July 1st, 1987, by the Urban Mass Transportation Administration, UMTA, the predecessor of FTA. And this is our very first bulletin. Before we had e-news, we certainly didn't send it out by email. It was printed and distributed. So this is announcing it, Volume 1, Issue 1. And what was really nice is right when we were formed, all 50 state RTAPs were formed. And also, our library was initiated right when National RTAP was. So we were all about resources right from the beginning. But what about before us? So I do want you to read this whole thing, so not going to be a spoiler alert, but these are some of my few favorite highlights. So before RTAP, there was an RCAC, a Rural Community Assistance Consortium. All of these things were in the 70s. So this was established in the 70s to increase the demonstrable capabilities. It had colleges and universities who provided rural community assistance. Not just about transportation, but transportation was something that they provided technical assistance about. And in 1974, the US Code Title 23 included a section titled Rural Transportation Assistance Program. Now, I've been asked, are we National Rural Transit Assistance or National Rural Transportation Assistance? We're definitely Rural Transit Assistance Program, but there was something before National RTAP, the Rural Transportation Assistance Program. So we're transit and more specifically bus transit, but this code was about more rural transportation in general, expanded. So also in the 70s, the first national conference on rural public transportation was held in 1976 in Greensboro, North Carolina. I don't know if any of you were there. I certainly wasn't. I don't think I would have understood much at the age I was in 1976, but I'm sure it was a good conference. And US DOT, a year after that, published a book we have in our library now, a Rural Passenger Transportation Primer, Selected Transportation Topics. So this tech brief, a look back at our pre-us history, goes back to the 60s. These are just a few highlights I found from the 70s. It's a fairly short read, good for, in between meetings or lunchtime or anytime you want to read something interesting. So now I'm going to introduce something completely different, a Tribal Memorandum of Understanding, MOU template. So I said that National RTAP supports rural and tribal transit, and we have a whole section on our website about tribal transit. It's its own purple button. We have a toolkit, we have a topic guide, we have tribal partners. We're even right now having a tribal and rural mini conference in South Dakota. So if you're from a tribal nation or a tribal transit system, definitely look at our tribal resources. This is our newest one. So tribal transit and our row of purple buttons is closer to the right. If you mouse over it, you'll see the Tribal Transit Toolkit, and that really has a lot besides this MOU. That's just the newest resource. It has how to engage and coordinate, governance, administration and funding, operations and planning, compliance, and now this template. It has a long but easy to understand URL that you can bookmark. And if you click on it, it will open as a web page. So a little background. It's to provide tribes with a sample template of Memorandum of Understanding, which is called an MOU, that they can use to enter into an agreement with the government of a city or a county. While this template can be used by any entity to enter a tribal government-to-government agreement, it may only be used as a resource tool, but not for any commercial purposes. It can't be sold or, altered in any way. But actually, if you use it as an MOU, you will personalize it. That's not really altering it. Customize, I say. Okay, it was created by our new Tribal Transit Liaison, Jeremy Bell. We're really happy to have here with National RTAP. And it was reviewed by National RTAP Review Board member Michelle Smith, who's a transit manager for Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribal Transit. And it comes with instructions. The tribal and transit system leadership are advised to carefully read all the elements of the template and edit to reflect their local policies and practices, since everybody is different. So the items in red should be customized. So once you customize the items in red, turn them back to standard black font, so everything is ready to use for the template. So here's what it looks like. The top, the tribe or tribal transit agency can insert their logo or seal at the top, and then you'll see all the stuff in red for customization. Insert the name of the tribe, insert the name of the city or the county, and you'll go through it, one by one until it's all done. And there's a place at the end for different exhibits if those are applicable. So we recommend just going to the web page, hitting select all, copy, and pasting it into a Word document. You can't really alter, customize it on our web page. You would have to do it in a Word document, or if you really want to do it in a PDF, but I'd suggest Word. So those are our new resources. And since I've started talking, probably a lot more leaves have fallen. So I'm going to open it up to your questions. You can put the questions in the chat. You can put them in the Q&A. You can raise your hand and I'll call on you. So who has a question or a comment or anything you want to know more about? I can demo things online too besides these slides. I'm going to stop sharing right now. Anybody want to ask about any of these resources or about anything that we're doing now? Okay, I see Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you could go over the 5310 again.
The 5310, sure. Okay. I'm going to go online and then I'll share my screen again. Thanks for asking that. And I'm going to share. Okay, so now you see the screen. And so click mouse over resources and you'll see an awful lot of things, but remember that one is in the Find Anything toolkit. So when you click on the Find Anything toolkit, it's in two places. It's in the table of contents in the middle, and it's also in the left navigation. So wherever you are in the toolkit, you'll be able to get it in the left navigation. I like to, when I start on something, click right in the middle. So it's not in the full text toolkit because I update the PDF toolkit annually, and I'll be doing that at the beginning of 2026. But there's two columns. Nancy, what state would you like me to take a look at? Or anybody?
Texas.
Texas, all right. Going to be in Texas soon. I hope we'll see you there at our conference.
Yes, I'll be there.
All right. Okay, so Texas DOT has a great page for 5310. They had virtual public involvement workshops. That's a really great idea. They have ways to contact them about it through email, phone, or snail mail. And they posted their presentations in English and Spanish. So you can really learn all about what they're doing with Section 5310. And then there's a little bit about 5310, like what I read in the slide, who is eligible, how the ADA applies to it. And I think that's a great page. Any other pages on 5310 anybody wants me to demo? Well, why don't we look at Massachusetts since I'm from Massachusetts? We'll do one more. They're all different. So Massachusetts, I think they actually asked me to link to a specific page, and they list all their grant program awards, including 5310 for many, many years, and other grants that they give too, which is nice. So as you can see, all of the Section 5310 pages are different. So let's see. We got a thank you for sharing this with us from someone in the audience. Who else has questions? We have plenty of time on any of the resources or any of our resources, really. It's your chance to ask a question about any National RTAP resource, and including the new ones or one you've never looked at or one you want to look at. You can contact us with your questions at any point at info@nationalrtap.org for general questions, support@nationalrtap.org for technical support questions, and e-learning@nationalrtap.org for e-learning questions. So I'm going to go back into my slideshow, and I'll share my screen again to talk about some other new stuff we're doing. Okay, so we always have something going on. And one of our great things we provide is GTFS Builder. And we've had a lot of webinars and learning workshops about that. We have another one coming up in a few weeks. So if you are working on getting your GTFS data ready for the National Transit Database, this webinar is for you. So they're all on our webinars page. Just sign up for it the way you signed up for this one. We're also tomorrow having, if you're a mobility manager, a peer roundtable. This is something new. And both of our new staff, in addition to Jeremy, are facilitating these. Al Benedict, who's our technology tools lead, is doing the GTFS one with our GTFS specialist, Marcy Chave. And then Anjali Dixon, who's our rural transit program manager, is doing the mobility management one tomorrow on grant writing using AI assistance. So that's a really hot topic. So even if you're not a mobility manager, I'm sure you'd be interested in that. And I do two book discussion groups each year, one in the summer, one in the winter. The next one will be in February, The New Life. It's a really different book. It's by a Nobel Prize winning author, and it's about a book that people read that changes their life, and it makes them just go on random buses all the time, going to random places. So if that sounds appealing, pick up that book and join our book discussion. And I mentioned Texas a few times, so this is our really big thing. We're doing a technical assistance conference from December 7th through 10th in Austin, Texas. It's called Wrangling Access and Mobility in Rural and Tribal Transit. There's the link. And if you just log on to nationalrtap.org, you'll get a pop-up to register right away. Every day we're adding things to it. So we're going to have lots and lots of sessions on all kinds of topics. We're going to have pre-conference workshops. We're going to have a big night out, student poster contest, a walk of fame. I mean, you don't want to miss this. So we hope to see you there. And I'm going to go to the next slide. I do see there's like a question, but let's just finish this one up first, slide-wise. So this is how to contact us, and this is how to contact me. And if you want to give us feedback on this webinar right now, you can scan this QR code with your phone. We really, really appreciate your feedback. That's how we make our events better, and we want to know what helped you, what didn't help you, what you'd like to see. It's completely anonymous, so you can tell us, this was the worst webinar I've ever seen, but I hope you don't. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now, and we do have a question. Can I get the link for the mobility management one? Sure, I can do that right now. So I'll put it in the chat. On our peer roundtable page. Now, peer roundtables are a little different than webinars. I'm going to put it in the chat here. They're informal conversations where back and forth, so our experts will talk about how to use AI for grant writing. And then if you've ever done it or had any experience with it, you can also share your own best practices. All right. Any other questions, comments on our new resources or anything else about National RTAP? I love when we end early. So you can have 15 more minutes to go out and look at the beautiful fall foliage, right? Okay. Well, you've been a great audience, and thank you for joining us. And we'll see you again at some of our other webinars and roundtables, and hope to see you at our conference. Bye.